Alright folks, how are we? I'm Shipwreck Sean, and this is episode 6 of my Following Seas series. It has been about 3 months since I last uploaded a video about this game, and I've seen that I've missed quite a lot of updates. What's brought me back today is that there's been a major update that's come out very recently. We're on our way to Fishook Mine in the Xebec, which is where we left off last time. And I was going to jump right into the updates and give you my thoughts, but I've noticed some things just by wandering around. There's shift, so you don't actually have to pick up the ropes anymore, but it doesn't seem as finely detailed. If I pick up the rope, you can kind of fine tune it a wee bit more. Come to think of it, I think that's the only sort of difference I've noticed. I have heard that there's like auto trim, which I think you can turn on and off, but we'll learn more about that. I just wanted to make sure I was going in the right direction because I opened up the game and I realised I've forgotten where everything is, including, there we go, right, so we are headed south-southwest. Is that south-southwest? Yeah. No, west-southwest, there we go, bit rusty. And I believe I could see what should be Fishook Mine over here somewhere. It seems to come and go. I think that might be it trying to pop its head over the waves there. Oh no. So as usual in this game, you can kind of see it on the first person view, but as soon as I open the spyglass we can't see it. But you should be able to see a bit of the island just around there. So we're heading in the right direction. Which means, does that make this the biggest island? Again, I can't see any of the islands with my spyglass. Let's see, can I see the watcher? I can indeed. Okay, so spyglass is still a bit weird. And the other thing I noticed is I seem to have a, was it a matchlock gun now? Which is interesting. Very nice. I think that might just be for a bit of fun. But yeah, how have you all been? Let's go and double check the map. That was some water coming on board there. And make sure we know exactly what's going on. Oh, okay, so we've got currents now. Oh, this is cool. So I wonder if... wait, and also... Weeping Isle? I don't think I've been here before either. You guys will need to let me know if this is a new island. I don't want to read about it until I'm heading there. If that's a new island or if it's just on display. Because I remember one of the journals was saying there's a bit of land, I think, up off in this direction. I can't remember where that journal came from. But either way, we're on our way to Fishook Mine. We've still got Lone's Lament to explore. And we've got Broken Spine, Reach, and basically these three, I guess you could call it 4 islands as part of the archipelago up north. So still a few places to explore. And I suppose that's kind of the update there. So I'm just going to make sure we're sailing in the right direction. Let's see, you can just see the island there if I tilt the view up. We're sailing at a bit of a close haul. There's a little bit of luffing. And the sails. Head sail seems like it can come in just a wee touch. Yeah, something like that. I'm actually very nervous to tack in this boat and game as well. I had it down to a T, but 3 months out. And you'd think I would have done some... Oh, that's the mast. I would have done some practicing before hopping on and recording. But nah, we like to chuck ourselves into the deep end. So that's all the sails pulled in just a wee touch. I still don't think there's a chip log in this game, so we can't really gauge our speed yet. I could be wrong, but as I say, I don't think there is. And I guess we just leave it to trundle along whilst I read the updates. So I'm going to go through a lot of the updates and share my thoughts. If you're just here for the gameplay, of course there will be chapters, so you're more than welcome to skip my babbling. But this is me just getting a sort of first impression of them, other than sort of random posts I've seen on the Discord. So I'm just going to leave the boat running. You'll be able to hear it in the background, the sound of the wind and the sea. and I'll share my thoughts. So I'll be with you very shortly. Alrighty, so here we go. I believe in the last episode I was talking about this major update, which would suggest it's been a wee bit more. Maybe that was the episode before, but it has been, as I say, quite a long time since I played the game properly. But I do remember reading about this one, and of course the Dow being released. I haven't actually sailed the Dow yet. I was planning on making that an episode on its own. Then it looks like we've had a bunch of hot fixes. I'll just look at a random one. Yeah, just lots of sort of random things, little changes, things I don't really need to pay attention to. Added an overlay map to the steering interface. Yeah, alright. This is obviously where the weapon has come from. So we're not going to bother looking at changes, or certainly have a look at new content though. Player tools now include a match lock. Right, okay. Implementation is partial at this point. Some islands have goats which can be shot for provisions. Right, I didn't know that. But currently no powder shot is needed, and the weapon has no effect on other objects. Controls are mostly standard FPS, first person shooter. Left click will cock the gun, or fire will aim if already cocked. Right click will aim, R will reload. Bring a snack, it'll take a while. Smashing, cool. Well, true to its time. Lantern has added effects and various physics changes. Some reworks to the quadrant to improve positioning. I'm aware of the clipping issue with the angle needle, working on it. I couldn't actually find the quadrant again. Player now has hands whilst using some tools. Now I did notice when I jumped into the menu there, I've got my hands set to female, I think by default, so we'll go and change that. Implementation of this will continue over time. My animation skills aren't super strong, so it's a bit stiff, but hopefully improves the sense of presence in the game. Yeah, that's cool. Don't worry about your animation. I'm here for the boats. Currently, there are 2 hand options, and here we go, which can be selected to your preference from the option panel. There will likely be more in the future. I'm guessing maybe like the different races and things like that. Upon changing selected hands, you will need to reload or load from the menu for the change to take effect. So we might have lady hands for the rest of the episode. Added goats, as alluded to earlier. Behaviour is limited at this point. I'm very keen to see that. I hope we can see some on Fishook Mine. A generalised creature controller is in progress. For now, they will wander in sombre silence until you smother their spark of life in chains. They are present currently on Broken Spine and Waypoint Isle. Okay, well that's disappointing. No goats today. Maybe I can load a previous save just to have a wee peek at the goats later. I think I'll do that. They're fairly small and population is sparse, so if you're having trouble finding them on Waypoint, most congregate in the broad central plateau to the southeast of the little building atop the mountain. Right, that's perfect, so we'll be able to find the goats. Upon death, interact with the body to convert to a provisions container, which can then be loaded in the same manner as other provisions. I like that. I like where that is going. Further details added to Sayetia? Someone please correct me on that one. Cannons, still cosmetic and under construction. Consider as testing. B will open gun ports. Okay, well not on the Xebec. And NM will fire port, starboard respectively. So I don't know if I'll be able to give that a go, because I don't think we can afford the ship that they're talking about. Then we've got little updates. There appears, is this a new boat? So this is, let's just skip straight to the changes section. I think it all might be changes. Fast travel, closer to land. So these are all just kind of little fixes. It looks like they've introduced a new ship. Oh, so this is square sails that he's talking about, right? But there's an actual, here we go. Right, there is an actual update section for the square sails. So he's obviously just talking about what's coming. Let's get a proper read now. So we've got fixes. Changes significantly updated the generic item interface. Many ship features implement this. To better account for other interactable components, adds to the bug fixes above that prevent interaction states from getting confused. Also allows for much finer control of item disengagement. Okay, fun game stuff. New content. Square rig ships have finally made it to following seas. A variant of the Xebec is available that trades one of its lateens for 4 square sails. That's going to be good fun. The performance and behaviour of these sails is still under construction, but it's at the point where the ship is stable and controllable. In this game, I have felt like square sails are going to make all of the difference. Square rigs function a bit differently when compared to other sail types, needing a bit more restrictive controls to keep the mess of spars and lines stable. That's smashing. The main sail can be controlled via corner lines in much the same way as other ships, but all the yards are controlled by a new control type called a brace controller. Okay, cool. We'll work that out. That'll be easier to understand when we're actually physically doing it. Two-part controls used to brace the corresponding yard to port or starboard. You don't need to roll out slack, as tightening on one side will automatically loosen the other. So we'll come back here and refer to this when we actually have a square sail. The reefing of square sail functions much the same as other types, but you need to get up in the shrouds for the top sails. I love it. I love it. That's going to feel good. The Xebec variant, notice I'm pronouncing it all three different ways today, also has a partially new hull with a flatter deck and rounder shape to be better suited to offshore travel. She's also armed with 18 6-pounders, though as with other ships, these are very much works in progress. Below decks you will see cargo capacity has been cut back significantly, and you've gained a magazine, workshop and brig, none of which are currently functional. Smashing. Unlike the Carvel variants, this new ship cannot be purchased from the standard Imperial shipyard. Instead, you will need to make a trip up north to a new landmark, Weeping Isle. Okay, so is Weeping Isle the one I was just looking at? A palatial fortress lying at the north reaches of the old empire, built to project power and act as a bastion against the raiding peoples of the far north. Okay, we definitely want to go there to play about with the square rig, Xebec. However, there are other boats that I've not tried yet. Bearing neither food nor water, the great fortress was abandoned as the world fell to ash. The tower has now become host to new owners, calling themselves the Inheritors. They fancy themselves successors to the martial traditions of the old empire. In the eyes of those seeking survival among the isles, they are better known as pirates, raiders and slavers. Fun. With prey becoming scarce, cautious traders may succeed at trading food and drink, but ever there is a chance of ending up in chains or, as rumours abound, upon the tables of starving raiders. Smashing, we've got some cannibals. And then it's all just introducing current, so this is what we've just seen on the map. And then to the update that's brought me to you today. Let's get a quick glance. So this one looks to be quite in depth. Let me see if I can find, first of all, okay, so it's a pint. Let's start from the very start. As I say, we'll do some gameplay very soon. He's apologising for the lengthy wait. Okay, so the auto trim degrees. To reduce player workload and encourage leaving the helm during travel, Following Seas implements a limited auto trimming system. It's always been in place, just not displayed on debug. This system will average your heading while underway to a trim of plus or minus 7 degrees to keep your heading steady. Okay, so I think we can choose to turn that off if we want it to be a bit more realistic. But I'm sure this is just like a, a quality of life update. He's mentioned to keep you away from the helm whilst you're wandering around the vessel. And as far as I remember, there's not too much to do away from the helm other than fishing. And I suppose once we get a square rig, climbing the shrouds for a bit of fun. So I can see this being a lot more useful in the future. Can be overridden by rudder inputs or any sailing conditions strong enough to induce strong yaw forces. Cog offset, entirely new system that alters the point at which wind forces are applied to the hull. So that's hopefully going to fix a lot of the issues. But we're not going to get too much into the detail of that. We can see diagrams. We're not using the Carvo at this point in time. Keel effective velocity. The system has always been present, has been significantly updated for this change. The value represented the hull speed through the water. Oh wait, what? Value represented the hull speed through the water in meters per second, where the keel gained its highest level efficiency or above this speed. So there's still a calculation, but we still can't see the speed of the boat as far as I'm aware, which is upsetting. These are other vessels, so I've not tried the Longline Caravel, I've not tried the Kalian Junk or the Padawakang. A bug was found, that's fine. You will no longer lose your effort every time you load or the game crashes. But let's pretend that never happens. Yeah, that's a good implementation, because at the end of the day, he's right. You would set up your sails, you would come out the game, you'd load back in, and your sail plan was totally altered, which isn't that much of a problem. I suppose it gives you something to do when you open the game, but hey ho. Individual ship changes and fixes. Well, I suppose we'll just go straight to the. Well, we've got the Latin version of our ship here. Applied more precise length enforcement to yard lines. Updated sailing model to account for variable torque and uneven efficiency. And then all ships, this will probably be the last thing. That and the world player changes will be the last thing I'll look over before jumping back into the game. Auto trim indicates the current state of the auto trim system. You can now toggle this on and off via the T key. I wonder if that's anything to do with the thing I was looking at shift. Heading drift indicates the yaw of the hull in degrees. Rudder angle, yeah, that's fine. Rope UI. Give your nose pickers a break. You can now use the shift key to change the rope lengths much more quickly. Okay, so that's what I was yapping on about. Fixed an issue where incorrect rope lengths could be displayed in some conditions. Always handy. Additional details of some islands, which we will discover as we go. More tasks can be generated when interacting with the task table. I am buzzing about that one, because sometimes it's very difficult to find a task and I have to kind of cheese it by reloading constantly. Quantity of goods in a given task are now generated up to your active ship's total capacity, making larger ships more profitable. Excellent. Overhauled player tool camera. That's fine, we won't get into that. Small light to the cargo manifest, always handy. And then just what looks to be little sort of fixes. Base NPC interface allows for simpler, more granular control of NPC characters. I've not gotten to that point now. Yeah, I think this is all things I haven't quite managed to get to yet. Just looks like sort of visual issues, visual fixes, and quality of life updates. So that's grand. You'll be glad to hear I'm finished with that. Let's go back and do some sailing. Alright folks, so you'll be glad to hear that's the reading portion of the episode done for today. I have loaded in, well, reopened the window, and we have lost all coverage. So we're just hoping that we're sailing in roughly the right direction and that we don't sail past the island. But I remember the islands are a lot further than they appear in this game, so I think we've still got some time to go. I am tempted to just anchor off and wait overnight so we've got coverage. Let me just check we're still heading. Oh, that's the other thing. I've noticed that we've got water spray on our screen now, which does make the reading of the compass a wee bit difficult, but I like it. A bit of immersion. I did discover something else which has gotten me very excited as I came back and did a little playing around before pressing record again, and that's when we go to name the ship, we can change the sail colours, and I'm very excited about that. We can't seem to keep the ship still whilst we do that, so let's see what we want to go for. I know it's kind of basic, but I'm very tempted to just go black and see what happens. Yeah, now that's nice. She's still called Nuovo. I believe I put it out to everyone to rename the ship, and as I say, it's been months since I played the game, so I didn't bother. Let's see if we can get a good look at these black sails from deck, and then we'll go in the open view. Perhaps it'll be better on clearer weather to get a peek. It does. I do like the added immersion because it makes me want to go into the quarters and wait out the rain. We have nothing to pump, which is always good. Suppose it's worth checking for any leaks below, as it has been a hot minute since I've been down here. Okay, it was linseed to Fishook Mine, smashing. I don't think we're making an awful lot of money from this delivery, but it was just an excuse to get out there. We don't appear to have any breaches in the hull, which is always handy because I wouldn't want to forget about that. Let's get myself back up the stairs. And I want an open view of these lovely black sails. Although I might... Oh, we're under the water. Oh, just get a good look at her. And yes, the rain on the screen, immersive change does happen in the open view as well. I can't tell if it's located mostly on the middle of the screen. Nah, it's everywhere. Smashing. It was just because we were seeing it on the backdrop of the sails. Does it disappear when I go inside? Try and shake that off. Okay, it doesn't seem to disappear. That would be a cool addition if it did. Oh no, it does. I just need to be patient. Yeah, I like that because it gives the player more reason to come in here, escape the weather, and wait for time to pass. But speaking of, and there we go, it's back. Speaking of, I am tempted to pull the sails in, anchor off, wait until tomorrow daytime, hope for some better weather, and see if we can spot the island a bit better. And it also gives me the opportunity to re-practice bringing the sails up, etc. So that is what I'm going to do. And I think first, before I do that, I'm going to just double check our food and water provisions, because I believe letting time pass, they're up forward, aren't they? Letting time pass can use up your provisions pretty quickly, so we just need to make sure we've got enough. Food stuff, got about 370 kilogram, drink 400, roughly 450, so we should be grand to wait one night, maybe even two, depending on when we can get the best weather. Head back up on deck. I mean, we could just keep going and winging it, but winging it's never done me many favours in the past. Right, so let's remember, that's going to be the main sail. I'd like to get the forward sail brought in first. Was that here? Yep. So we're going to haul that up. Like so. Head over to the main sail and do the very same. I've said this on my other sailing games, I do need to play the game more without going into the open view. So I feel like these sailing games are intended for that. It's just nice to get a good view of the ship. And the mizzen. Up ye go. Right, all sails up. See if I can remember where the anchor winch is. Looks like this be it here. And I'm pressing A and D, but I can't appear to release the anchor at all. I don't know why. Is this a bug? Or am I just being a fool? Grab. A, D. Nope. Well, I'm happy to just drift, I suppose, once I pass the time. I guess we're just going to have to do that. Has anyone else experienced that? One more time. Am I just being an absolute idiot? Do I need to hold shift or A, D? Nope. Nope, okay. Anchor winch, not happening today. Let's go inside and wait out the bad weather. So I believe that's past time here. So we're passing time and using provisions. It doesn't appear to be okay, as the sun is going down, it does use up quite... Oh, wait. With the sun off in the background, I know I said I wasn't going to go to the open view, but there we go. If I jump, I'm sure I just saw land over there. Right. So land is over here in this direction, which is 273 azimuth. Trying to get a good look. It's directly west. Are we going to be able to get directly west though, looking at the wind? Yeah, easy peasy, because it is now a beam reach over to west. So I think that's the smartest move. Good thing we didn't drop the anchor. Let's get the sails back out. Turn ourselves due west. And then we'll release the sails so that it's better for a beam reach. Let's get you opened up. And because there's no anchor out, she will just start to move forward herself. In the background, I'll work out what's going on with the anchor. And all the clues seem to have lost all of their tension. How's that looking? Yep, we'll fine tune that. That's definitely way too tight. I'm just trying to get used to the shift thing. As I say, it doesn't give you much in the ways of fine tuning, but if I pick it up, I'll be able to do it. That's luffing, but when we turn more at beam reach, it will be a lot better. Oh, this is a glorious night, isn't it? Such a beautiful game. And such a beautiful ship. I can't remember if I can change the flag or not. And where is the... Here we go. Bring you in about there. That's definitely way too tight, but as I say, we'll turn headed towards the island and then fine tune. Right, what information do we get? So we've got heading drift and rudder angle. I actually forgot to memorise what heading drift was, and then we've got auto trim, which can be turned on and off. I think I'm going to keep it off, just to keep things a bit more realistic. I think the dev was saying it used to be turned on by default, so we'll see how we get on there. And there was a button, yeah, W to completely centralise the helm. And now we're headed directly towards the island, which I'm far more happy with. I wonder if when you're passing... I'm pretty sure when you pass time, you'll still sail, but time just moves by more quickly. Because I was considering doing that, but it's obviously not going to get me there any more quickly. What am I looking for? We've just pulled in the 4. Right, okay, so we need to go up to the helm. This guy. I think that can go out. Yeah, that looks good to me. Forward, you can definitely go out quite a bit more. Yeah, just a teeny tiny bit of luffing, but I'm happy with that. And our mizzen sail's looking pretty decent to me as well. Although, you don't usually need to let this one out quite as much. But I'm actually rather happy with that. Perhaps a little bit of luffing. Nice. I think what we'll do is I'm going to change the colours of the sails to something a bit brighter. There's nothing wrong with going full white, is there? Here we go. Yeah. Bring our RGB up again. Set. And it will just make them a bit easier to see at night. Now, I won't make a habit of doing that, but it's just easier to view for now, particularly as a YouTube channel. We don't want things to be too dark. But we seem to be in the right heading. Fantastic. I have missed this game. Right, so here was the sextant I couldn't find, or quadrant, which I still need to learn properly. Still need to learn my celestial navigation and all my constellations. There was one that you guys taught me. It was the cluster of stars, which conveniently I've forgotten the name of. Was it Pleiades? Pleiades' cluster? I could just be reaching that name from absolutely nowhere, but it was something like that. And obviously we can find the North Star. I'm good at that. That's the easy one though, isn't it? So head, look around 360. Oh, actually I don't know how to find the North Star. Is that the North Star there? The brightest one? I would think so, because we're at 359.8 degrees. But then what do we do with that information? Hopefully, in fact not hopefully, definitely, I'll be playing the game a lot more often going forward. I've already explained kind of my disappearance on the Sailwind channel, on the Sailwind series on the channel. But to cut a long story short here, holidays, came back, sad to be back in Scotland, but also we've had some glorious weather, so I've been making the most of that. As I say, I've been back releasing Sailwind videos for about a month now, and I've decided just to upload a bit less frequently, just to avoid any burnout. You know, as I've pointed out, when you're working a full-time job and doing YouTube, you can get pretty tired, and also I'm a bit of a moron when it comes to watching my own time, as I'm sure the people who know me personally will attest to. So yeah, we're heading in the right direction. What I'm going to do is I'm going to sail through the night, and I'll be back with yous when we're a bit closer to the island. We will find a place to dock, and then we will explore the island together. So I will be back with you, hopefully in the daytime, closer to Fishook Mine. See you shortly. Alright folks, so we have a next day update. It is daylight. It is taking a lot longer than I thought it would. As I mentioned, I forgot how far the islands are from each other in this game. It's definitely more of a kickback, shove on a podcast and chill sort of game. As you can see by the flag, we don't have much in the way of wind. So we're just slowly crawling or trawling ourselves along at a slight beam reach to not much speed at all. We have been drifting ever so slightly to starboard, so I've been fighting that a wee bit. I think we might still be doing it ever so slightly, but I've just pulled in the head sail and let the aft sail out, the mizzen sail as much as possible without too much luffing. I think we can maybe get away with a wee touch more. Yeah, that's got to come in to about there. That looks nice. But yep, as you can see, we are getting relatively close. We can now start to make out the, well, I guess the general structure of the island, but we're not seeing any foliage or anything. It does appear to be a bigger island than I thought. And I thought it might be worth doing a little bit of triangulation. Can't remember how I did that. I think, yeah, okay, so we want to save the azimuth. So I'm going to click around the centre of this island, and we're going to save that one. And then we're just going to memorise the watchtower, if indeed we can still see the watchtower, which isn't actually looking too great. It was a lovely morning, full coverage everywhere in the morning, but it looks like we're actually not going to be able to do our triangulation. We may be getting a wee... Oh, there she is, just through the clouds there at 48.81. So obviously that took me a wee second, so we're not going to be perfect, but we just need to remember 48.81 from the watcher. Right, let's see if I can remember how to do this. Along to the watcher, and then is it left click, right click? Was it this? Triangulation reference point. That's interact key. So press interact, and then we bring it to 48. Was it 0.81? I've already forgotten it. That's close enough for me. We'll go with that. It's already looking like we're not as close as I thought we were. Is it left click to leave? No, is it interact again? E. Nice, okay. Fishook Mine, we've got saved at... Is this the saved one? 284.94? And I went for the centre. I would like to find the port, and it looks like the port is over here on the west side of the island, so we will need to sail round. But to get a kind of point of triangulation, be better to have 3 points, but we'll go with 2, as we're going 284.94. So that's going to be roughly... We don't need to be too accurate with this. About there. So this is the point where we're at. If we zoom in too much, our reference point disappears. So we're roughly here. And I believe we left Waypoint Island in the last episode. We sailed to maybe about here. So in that sort of half an hour I've been off camera, we've gone from here to here. So not too much time to go now. I do enjoy, I suppose, the main difference, we have drifted to starboard again just a wee touch. The main difference between this game and Sailwind is that you can sort of get from one island to the other in Sailwind in, well, sometimes 5 minutes. If you're within the same archipelago, maximum, you know, 25 minutes to half an hour, unless you're sort of maybe in the Alang archipelago and you're going to Oasis, or if you're heading to Bone Island up from the Aestrin archipelago. So I suppose the difference with this game is it's more about just taking it in. It's a lot more laid back and relaxed, which I very much enjoy. And of course, if the weather, you know, if we're not getting strong winds, we just have to accept that. That is the real world of sailing. We rely on the powers that be. I feel like something's loose here. Can we tighten that up a wee touch? Is it just going to thingamajig and oscillate? Okay. I'm sure I could pull that a bit tighter back before the updates. But yeah, above 1 seems to be the beauty spot. Let's just make sure we've got everything tight as possible. Where this stops. Right, so we're not getting away with that. Is it going to stop? Nope, okay. We'll just go above 1, see if that stops it. Yeah, above 1 seems to be the way to go for these. And then let's head back aft. I don't know why I can't sprint anymore. There we go. Probably because I'm pushing caps lock. And then the final will be here, and that's above 1 as well. It seems to be fine. Can we get away with any tighter than that? Okay, we can on the mizzen. Can we make out any foliage yet? No. Okay, cool. But at least now we know we're sailing round to the western point, western section of the island to get to port. And then I'm very excited to do some exploring on a new island. And the plan after that is to scoot up north to discover this new archipelago I haven't been to before, and hopefully some new ships. But I might have to do some sailing in the background to be able to afford said ships. Actually, I'm going to go and check and see how much money I've got. Quick check of the bilge pumps, actually. Never pass the bilge pumps without a wee gadunk. Our finances are going to be down in provisions, aren't they? Stuck on a crate, round we go. 4 for our lantern. It's worth doing another below decks check. See if we've got any... Nope, we have no holes in the hull. Check provisions. We have 11,935.98 tiers, or tears. I still haven't quite worked out what that is. I feel like tears would make more sense, because it's sort of like... oh, what was the word? There used to be a word, I think it was like if you chipped off like a bit of gold, and they were called chips or something. What the hell am I talking about? Someone will know what I'm failing to yap about. And I suppose it's worth doing a wee bit of fishing just to pass the time. And since we're probably in new waters, we are around Fishook Mine, so the name kind of suggests that we should be able to find some fish here. Hopefully new fish. And I've just lost that fish. I've actually forgotten how to fish in this game. As I say, I do need to spend a lot of time playing off camera again, get myself back into the groove. Off camera I was pretty keen on just doing a save where I'm just trawl fishing in the Caravel. But if that's very exciting, I'll do a wee video on that as well, just as a kind of bonus video. But there'll definitely be a dive video at some point. Am I losing this fish again? No, I'm just going to let it pull. And then it's going to weak round. I don't want to stop pulling in case it wriggles itself free. If anyone watches who are keen fishermen in real life, it'd be nice to know how to actually do this, and if the games are kind of true to... Did I just lose that? We don't swear on this channel. Gosh darned fish. Okay, one more try. I mean, it's bent, so the bend would tell me we have something on the hook. Oh god, this is hopeless. I used to be so good at this. This is how I used to pass the time. Oh, we're losing it. I'd like to see the curve at the end. Did I just... What's going on? Oh no, we had one. It was just so tiny that apparently it wasn't popping up. Okay, one more go, because I really want a big fish. And I should have read that to see if it was a fish we haven't discovered yet. But I'm pretty sure we had. I seem to recognise it. Was it a finger fish? I need to go back and check. But we will hopefully catch another one without drama off the back of our transom here. Right, come on everyone, fingers, toes and everything else crossed. Let's get a beautiful fish for our dinner. We went for a lot of provisions there and passing the time earlier on, so it'd be nice to make up for it with a nice big hefty fish. I probably should have done this in the background as well, but whilst I was sailing I went and made myself some actual lunch. And I'm not a football fan, or as some of you guys might call it, soccer, but it is the Scottish final of the Premier League and I am keeping, oh that's a nice biggie, but I'm sure we've had bird catchers before. But it is the final games today and all the guys I work with watch football, so I'm watching it just to learn a wee bit so that I'm not completely clueless when we're all yapping in the mess room of the ship at work. But yes, we have fish. We are obviously getting closer because it looks like we've drifted to port, but I don't think that's true. So I'm just going to turn our heading so that we're just heading sort of, well, from our direction west of the cliffs, but more realistically south, so that we can then head round the west side and dock in. Let's just double check the wind direction now that we have turned. And yeah, I'm going to want to pull all the sails in now, because now it's a bit closer to a close haul, so I'll just do them all, I'll just pull them all in without too much focus on detailing, so that we're good for a close haul, and then I'll go and do the fine tuning. Right, so that's them all in. Let's get a look at them now. It's probably a bit tight, isn't it? Where's our, let's go and look at our wind marker. Cross-reference that. Okay, that's still saying a beam reach. So I don't think we are close hauling at all. I think it's just because the wind is so light. So actually we'll just ease out again. Undo all of our hard labour. And because I've just unbalanced the boat, we will probably be fighting the turn to starboard again. So in actual fact, I'm just going to over tighten the forward sail and head back to the mizzen, and we're going to, oh that's not the mizzen, to the mizzen, and we're going to ease out. Yeah, I don't mind that, a little bit of wobble. We have completely lost view of the watcher now. What was it? It was about 48 from where we were looking previously, so it's going to be roughly in this direction if we did see it. But nope, lost all vision. Oh, you can just make it out. I don't know if the YouTube compression will show you, but you can just make it out as I move. I'm moving on purpose, by the way, because if I stay still you can barely see it. But we can still see the watcher. We can see some proper sunshine over on Fishook Mine. So hopefully we'll be there soon, but I reckon it's probably going to be a bit darker. But either way, see you shortly. Alrighty, so we have had a change of wind and sea state. It made me realise actually that I'm not actually that great at setting the sails in this game on the lateens for, what am I trying to say, downwind sailing. But I think we've managed as well as we can. You just need to bring the tack of the sail, just to say that it's, okay, this needs to be perfected, put it that way. But you bring the tack of the sail round to the side, make sure it's just a bit further forward than the clew. I feel like, is the clew too tight though? Let's see, what happens if I give that just a little bit? I feel like that's looking better. We can see the island off, just approaching northwest from us, and we are sailing towards west, maybe just south of west by a touch. The wind, let's have a look at the marker instead. Okay, that's fine. So we want the clew to be pulled in just a wee bit ever so tight, because the wind is blowing over to our port side. Okay, which means the island will be coming up on our windward side. So with that in mind, let's see if I can expertly do this with the mainsail. I've dropped all sails apart from the forward one. So we're going to bring the tack round here, like so, and I think when we bring the sail out, can I ease out quite a bit of that for now. Let's see, the forward sail and the mainsail tensions seem to marry up pretty well. So that's 6.67. bring the clue to about the same, roughly about there. Sorry, the tack. And then our clue is 3. So we're going to do the same. We're going to go grab the clue sheet. Bring that round. We're going to make sure it's behind. So that's probably... Is here going to be okay? Where's it gone? Did I drop it? Maybe it's just so loose that it's still there. I've lost my clue. I don't have a clue. Sorry. I am very sorry. Okay, let's let the sail out and see if that gives us a clue as to where the clue is. Right, sail 100% out. Okay, so it's darted back to here. That's fine. We're going to bring this in. What was it, to about 3? And then we're going to see how that looks. Spotting that. We'll tie it to this this cleat here. There we go. Right, let's go up aft and have a look forward and see how that's looking. Yeah, that looks okay actually. So it's, you know, certainly not perfect, but it's enough to keep us heading forward. So before I perfect anything, we're going to get our final bit of practice. Where the hell? I'm having a bit of a brain fart at the moment. Now I've lost the tack for... Oh, jeez. So I think I've put that tack down somewhere by mistake, and now I can't seem to reach it. That is the clue of the main. But I can't appear... Look, as you can see, the tack is dangling in the air. We'll let the sail out, see if that fixes anything. See if we can't encourage that to come round somewhere. I don't know where I've dropped it, is the thing. And it's just, as I say, suspended in the air. So if I go round... Okay, we've got grab. Is that... Yeah, that's just the winch. Where's it gone? So I'm going to have to walk around all these bollards. See if I can find where I've accidentally hooked it to. I felt like I was over in this section. Have I got 2 here? Nope. Nope, that's our mooring line. Another mooring line. Where the hell has it gone? Oh, climb. Did I just say climb? Okay, I've climbed, but I don't actually know how to climb, if that makes sense. But you can press E to climb. I'm up holding on to the side. But there's nothing I can push to actually... I know I'm getting very distracted here, but I thought for a second I could climb the shrouds. Perhaps I can. But that's for another time. Let's work this out. We can at least put the clue where I want that to be. All that right in. As you can see, we're approaching the island pretty swiftly. Where can we tie that off to? We'll tie it here because we want that to be behind. Let that out a wee bit. And if I could just... Right, it's pointing down in this direction. So you would think it would be over here. Just another mooring line. If I can't find it, I'll just give up and sail without. Yeah, as I say, it says grab there, but it's literally just the clue of the mainsail, so I've got no idea. Yep, that's a foresail. I'm hoping that when we go into dock and then reload, that'll reappear. But yes, that's annoying. I'm always breaking the games. Well, I was hoping to get a nice pretty view of the ship sailing downwind with the lateens set to square, but avast we cannot. Let's... feel like I want that to go a wee bit tighter. And in actual fact, I want to pull the tack in a wee bit as well. Yeah, okay, I can live with that. I know I said I was going to avoid this view as much as possible, but as I say, I'm not so great sailing downwind, so I'm just trying to get the practice in. It would be handy to have all of my sails, but we don't. Let's just get rid of this because it's annoying me. And let's make a sail plan, because once we round this island, we're going to be turning north. And the wind, well, if it's blowing right into us, we're going to be at pretty much a beam reach or thereabouts. So we pretty much now just need to pass this island at this configuration, and then I'm going to drop all the sails again. Well, turn around, drop all the sails, and then reset the sail plan, because I'm now too panicked. Let's go completely downwind, just for a bit of fun. Like so, and then let's see how the sails react. So the yard is kind of shuffling around here more than I'd like to see. I just want to see what happens if I completely ease out. That actually seems to have fixed it, because I would have thought pull that in. But that seems to have done the job. It's nice to discover I'm awful at something, which happens more often than I care to admit. But I'm liking the look of that. On deck it looks nice. And we're propelling forward. Can we see any trees or foliage yet? No, we cannot. Oh well then. Only thing for it is we are sailing to the south end of the island, and I'll be with you for our turn around. Then hopefully we'll start to spot land features and preferably a town. Fingers crossed. We can see trees, lads. That means that I've already turned ourselves to starboard just a touch. Means I'm now going to go out and set up my sails for the beam reach. Pull that tack right in to just over 1, so it doesn't oscillate. Where do I tie off to here? Jump back, grab the clue of the sail. I'm going to bring that, centralise that into the boat. Beam reach in, so I think 3 will be okay, just whilst we sort the mainsail. Where does the mainsail? I think it goes here. I want to pull that right into just above 1, much like we've just done. And I want to make sure, yeah, that sail's on the right side of the mast. And then grab this, and that's all the way back here, isn't it? We still don't have the mizzen sail, that's okay. Let that out to about 3, pop that in, and that's looking pretty good to me. Could probably let them out a wee bit, but I'm going to be pulling in tighter and tighter. But it does look like we're headed right towards where land meets the water, so we'll be there very soon. But at the moment, just barren trees, much like the theme of the other islands, sort of barren wasteland where a civilization once thrived and no longer does. I'm going to go and double, triple check the provisions, because I would like to dock in the daytime, so there is a chance I'll drop sails and pass the time again. Where am I going? Up forward for the provisions. Let's have a wee peek here. Yeah, we've got plenty. I'm not even going to worry about that in the slightest, because I'm presuming we'll be able to buy more at Fishook Mine anyway. Let's get ourselves back on deck. Need the hatch open first before we do that. Bit of rain on my visor. Right, we just crack on. Okay, we are turning to starboard, which is surprising me, considering we don't have a mizzen sail out. Maybe I'll ease out a bit more on the main, just so that we're not completely turning to starboard. And then I might pull in just a wee touch on the forward, just to try and balance that out and keep her moving straight. Straight is always good. I wonder if it had the... When we grab the helm, it gives us the heading drift. and that's negative. So, okay, so the arrow, as you can see, tells you in which direction we're going. Negative would suggest we're drifting to starboard, and positive would suggest we're drifting to port, I believe. Or is that the... yeah, I think that's right. Let's see, what if we turn on auto trim? That number seems to jump around a lot more, but I'm going to turn it back off because that feels like cheating. Again, it does look like we've drifted to starboard, but I don't know if that's just because more of the land is appearing. But we're certainly in a position to be controlling the vessel a lot more now. Get this outward look. The weather is atrocious, but that tends to happen when I get close to land in this game. I like to throw wee curveballs at me. Can we make out anything? I believe we're still at the, like, we're looking at the east face of the island and then the south face here in your view. So we just need to get around this edge of the island and turn to starboard. Ship Pill J supposed to be walked past. But yeah, as I was waiting off camera there, I did receive a comment on one of my very old Sailwind videos complaining that I'm docking in the dark and people watch it to learn how to dock. So yeah, I'll take that on board. You know, 50 odd episodes later. And I will dock during the daytime if it can be done. But sometimes we dock at night, and sometimes it's good to learn to dock at night. But I'm a lot more conscious now of obviously how the YouTube videos look when people are watching. Less so on how they sound. I can change visuals, I can't change babbling. That's just part of the personality, I'm afraid. Right, Nuovo Anno, you're doing well. I do like the look of the wet deck. And how clean she is. Remember the Carvel? The Carvel was... she was just manky. I mean, she was rusting. There was green all around the deck. This looks like it's had a nice wee acid clean and then an oil. We do like a looked after vessel here at Shipwreck Sean. Like and subscribe for more well cared for boats. Game boats, that is. If I uploaded my work, you would be bored very quickly. So as I say, the boats I work with tend to not go anywhere. We do have one in the water, but there's no sails. That's just a boring motor vessel where the engines are struggling anyway. So yeah, it's all going well. But now that we're entering the summer months, hopefully there'll be more care and attention put towards. We might get some working engines soon. That's my pal messaging. Are you watching the Fitba? Nah, I've turned it off. It was boring me. No, last I saw. This is why I like rugby. The score lines are just much bigger. Way more of an exciting game. And for the Americans, when I say football, I of course mean what you call soccer. Call it whatever you want. I hate the sport anyway. Sorry to alienate anyone watching this that happens to like football, soccer, kicky ball. But we are precariously close to land now. Oh, that's what I was doing wrong with the anchor earlier. We have to actually lay the anchor and then we just winch it in. I am an idiot. Okay, for those of you that left a comment at the time, if you did, saying this is what you're doing wrong with the anchor, I've discovered it. Roughly 45 minutes later in the episode, we've worked out the issue. Okay, well, we're seeing a structure. I'm getting the impression there's a bay round there. I'm going to go and turn to port ever so slightly and get another look at the map. The reason I'm turning to port is because we are edging just very close to that island edge there. Right, centralise the helm. The rudder, rather, with the helm. Down into the cabin. Oh, that's a pound in the pound jar. We can leave that open. Right, Fishook Mine. Well, everything we've drawn has gone ski with. Yeah, so I think I'm rounding here. Which means I think this tall structure, this is the sort of cliff edge I'm looking at. So we need to go round that tall cliff edge and into this bay where I'm presuming the town is. I'm not seeing any sort of buildings on the map, but then I'm not sure if they do show buildings on the map. I can't remember. We'd need to check another island. Do we have time to do that before we smash into anything? Waypoint. We know where the buildings are on Waypoint. And it does indeed. But there must be something, because we have a mission to Fishook. I can't seem to get out. There we go. So we're close. And here we go. So I think we might be going in there. But I'm not going to commit to that until I see some sort of structure or port. And is that it there? Nope, just more rocks. Where is the darn town? There we go. Okay, right, so we want to go through this gap. Land ho, boys. Hopefully we've got enough space to do this. And thankfully it will be daytime. Although I fear we might be turning into a complete close halt. But she can handle it. If I have to kedge in, do the kedge of shame, then we will do just that. And it looks like we are going to have to. Right, I'm going to bring that rudder to centre. That's an oversteer. Wind is... okay, we're completely dead in the water. So we're going to bring in all sails and kedge, shame kedge our way into port. Which is always a laugh, isn't it? Okie dokie. Where is that everything in? Nope. This winch here. I can see smoke coming from a chimney, right? Late kedge anchor. We're just going to drop you forward of us and start winching in. I forget which way is the correct way to winch. Are we going forward? I think so. Yep. So A. Oh, this is going to take quite a hot minute. Okay. Bring that in. Oh, I don't like the look of that. We're getting way too close to land there. Oh, this is not looking good. Okay, right. Let's pop that over there. Get ourselves turned to port before we get too close to the rocks. Are we going to pull in? We're not. Okay, I'm thinking W. A is not the way to go. Is it D? Oh, I really should have practiced this game before jumping in. We have hit the rock. Is D right? I think D might be turning us. Okay, phew. I was starting to panic quite a bit there. I wonder if we can get in with just a head sail. Right, drop you there. And then D. Bring us forward. How's the wind looking? I think we should be able to, if we turn to port a bit, I think we should be able to just close haul it with the foresail. Let's see. Only one way to find out. And if I need to kedge us slightly to port, we will do just that. But we want to make sure everything is as tight as possible for this. Even if that oscillates now, I don't care. Go and grab our clue. I think it's over here. We want that right in, as tight as we're going to get it. Tight as possible, but just not zero, essentially. And we'll see if we can turn her to port. And at least we'll get away with a little bit of move forward. Yes, we can. How's that? That should bring us forward, you know. I think I'm pretty chuffed with that. Oh, in real life, I am going to wet myself. All this rain really isn't helping. I think we could let that out just a wee touch. There we go. Are we moving forward? If we are, it's not by much. So can we sail and kedge? I feel like there used to be a sound that came along with this, unless that's a separate sailing game. I might be thinking of Sail the Seas. But I think we're getting there. We just picked a rough day to come into Fishook Mine. I can see that port getting closer and closer. So this is just a test of patience, if you will. And we're losing daylight. Well, we've mostly done this in daylight. There's no point in anchoring down and waiting now. Let's just go for it. If we damage the ship, we damage the ship. We've got plenty of oakum. Right. Then let's just bring that towards the pier. And hopefully this is the last bit of winching we need to do for now. I'm hoping that the wind will pass over to starboard leeward. Because then the sail will help us the rest of the way. Where is the sail? Over here. So can we pass that over to here? R to pass the sail on to the other side. And I think that should tick us forward just nicely. I do need to go and prepare to turn to port. But I think this is going alright. Let's replace the word think with hope. It's looking okay. It's not the world's largest pier. Unfortunately, I think we might have overdone it here. But at the very least, we can now bring the sail out. I probably should have stopped the helm from turning. Yep, we're going to do that. Oh. It's not as easy as it looks. And it doesn't look easy. Right, foresail up. It's been a few months, right? That's my excuse. This is proof that I don't do any practicing off camera. And if I do, then it's wasted practice. Right, I think we'll just cheese ourselves a bit closer to the pier now. Hopefully as our bow doesn't appear to be hitting anything, so we're okay. There's a button to cheat, but I can't remember that. It might be handy for moments like this. Now we're turning to starboard too much. Am I locking this helm, or is it just, there's just not enough movement? This is getting increasingly embarrassing. Let's see if I can grab my bow line and hop along our bowsprit onto the pier. There we go, and that's how the pros do it, ladies and gentlemen. Stick around for more educational content at Shipwreck Sean. Right, where is our stern line? Where's it gone? Here we go, stern line. I can just hear the boat scraping along the pier. Love scrapes is what we call those. Right, we're here. And I think that should slowly fix itself. So, whilst it does that, I am going to run to the real life toilet, and then I'll be with you in the cargo hold to get this delivery delivered. And then we'll wait till daytime for a bit of exploring. I will see you post-P. Good morning. So, the ship didn't quite right herself, unfortunately. this is probably not the most optimal way of berthing a boat. Let's see, I wonder if move it, because in this game, the boat just kind of self-rights, or at least it used to, when you place the mooring lines. Perhaps maybe this one's too far or something? Because you can't like reel them in like you can in Sailwind, at least I don't think you can. Let's try that, see if that pulls the back end round. But then I went to bed to pass the time so that it was a bit brighter for you all, and I've used up quite a lot of provisions in doing so. But we'll head down to the cargo hold and complete these missions. In fact, I believe it is just the one. I can hear some scraping, that's fine, we'll ignore that. Where is our cargo manifest? There we go. Let's get all these delivered. Listen out for a little ping. 4 more to go. 1, 2, 3. I didn't hear the ship's bell, but I have noticed a little crack in the hull here. So we're going to patch that up. The crack in the hull has probably come from my fantastic docking. There we go. Oh, still a wee squirt coming in. Let's inspect the rest of the hull because I wasn't happy with how any of that went. I did reload the game as well, so here's hoping that our mizzen mast situation has sorted itself. Ah, of course it hasn't, because it's because the game is updated in such a way that it keeps your sail plan. So that's a bit of fun for me to work out before we come back into the next episode. But I'm going to have a wee browse around in here. Well, we're going to want to sail north soon, right? First of all, let's sort our provisions. Catch of the day, that's not on there yet. Because well, catch of the day is the carvel, right? Provisions. We're going to want to stock up a decent amount, I believe, because we are going pretty far north. I'm probably completely overstocking here, but I just want to be totally safe. That's rather expensive, but that's fine. I keep pressing the wrong thing. What I want to look at is contracts. Fishook Mine, Fishook Mine. Oh wait, the destination's below. So the far shore, that I think that's where we're going. Can't quite remember now actually, but I think the far shore is the northern island, which is good. So we're going to get missions for that easy. I do have this island to explore, but that is going to be how we begin the next episode. I'm sure I heard there's some goodies on this island to explore as well. Did we just... I mean, we're just going for it now, aren't we? Okay, let's see what's about. Let's see if there's anything interesting. I should probably be going a bit more slowly as well to keep my eyes peeled for any journals. Do let me know in the comments if I'm missing anything, because I tend to do that. Can we get in here? Unfortunately not. I don't like a closed door. Oh, there we go. We have a journal. Okay, well, we're going to end it on this journal. Let's have a wee peek. Sharifa Henna. I know that we may never return. I know that our duty is an honour. Still, we ask again for relief. Give us axes and send us to Bathis, or send us to the Bells and let another bear this place in our stead. Tamak, the man who trained me to run the smelter, he is gone. Cried out that he couldn't bear it and threw himself off from the cliffs. We had to use boat hooks and ropes to pull him in, and we threw him on the fires I stoke every day. I can still smell it. Grim. It is not the ash. This island is dying, but the affliction here is alien to us. We feel the cold, hear the wind of another place. I can't sleep. There's a sound like a great horn which howls without end. Those who can sleep wake with oily black water on their hands and claim they know nothing of where it came from. Also grim. Twice or more each week, one of us will be gripped with madness and flee the mine, frothing at the mouth and screaming of a sickly son, or that we are watched. They are not fit to work for a day at least, and our production suffers. So I think we do need to go and find this mine. We are strong and we wish to work. We ask only for reprieve. Perhaps we can work some months in the mines and some months more on other shores before we return. We could produce more with clear minds. In duty, peace, and sacrifice, honour. Roland, Master of the Fires, Fishook Mine. Glorious. Well, folks, it sounds like there's that mine to explore somewhere, so we'll need to hunt around and find that. But for now, thank you very kindly for joining me. As I say, it's been my first episode back into Following Seas for quite some time, so a little bit rusty around the edges, but we got there in the end. Do let me know if I'm missing anything on this island, because I very much don't want to miss anything. And other than that, thank you for joining me, and I'll see you next time. Cheerio.